Hey guys, me here today. I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about some TNA stuff, I guess should say. First of all, I'm not sure if anybody had realized, but the TNA website did a complete makeover and turned it into Impact Wrestling. There was something missing from the website. Called the TNA logo that was last used. So, okay, let's backtrack here a little bit. TNA changed the logo in 2010 when Hogan and Bischoff came in. And then they actually got rid of that logo completely when Impact Wrestling showed up. Now, this is, what is this, May 27th and May 28th actually now. And the TNA logo is back back on the TNA website, Impact Wrestling website. It's actually up in the top left-hand corner, and it's blue highlighted in white. So it's interesting that they've brought that back now. Maybe it does go to show that TNA isn't exactly over. They're majorly going to be calling it Impact Wrestling for now, and then they're going to go back underneath the TNA brand, so you have Impact Wrestling on one show and Explosion on the other. I did see bits and pieces of Explosion when Desmond Wolfe came back, and they're not calling it Impact Wrestling Explosion. They've called it TNA Explosion a couple times, so it makes me wonder if I'm correct, where TNA is going to be still the company name, but it's going to be switched between Impact Wrestling and Explosion. But yeah, anyways, moving on, we saw Desmond Wolfe make his return on Explosion. He's now the commissioner of Explosion. He's still not cleared to wrestle, but it's good to see him back. I'm glad everything's alright with him, as much as possible it can be. If you didn't see the video, check out the video. He's got a little bit of comedy bit in there. It's pretty good. Interesting thing that I was not aware of. Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff's contracts, this is what I'm hearing. From my original understanding is when they signed in 2010, it was originally for a one-year deal. Later that summer, I had learned that it was actually a 2-year deal. In the past 10 hours, I have found out that that's not even the case, that apparently it's an 18-month contract. Now, an 18-month is a year and a half. Well, okay, yeah, okay, so we know that. So a year and a half would take them to being about June, July area. Because they didn't, but I'm not exactly sure. I don't even think the 18th month contract is correct. Because technically they signed back in the December there of 2009. So I'm not exactly sure what that's all about. Because that means they would be gone now. But the latest thing is saying that this Victory Road is going to be the abolishment of Hogan and Bischoff, where they will no longer be in TNA Wrestling when their contract expires. So that's apparently what I've heard. I think they should keep Bischoff. I think Bischoff would be a great asset to TNA as long as Hogan's not there. Bischoff does good things when Hogan's not around. Vince Russo is gone. So that's interesting. Terry Taylor, not Vince Russo. I'm sorry, Vince Russo was there. It's Terry Taylor that's gone. So that's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things happening backstage, and there's been a lot of wrestlers recently coming out and saying, that they're not happy with Hogan and Bischoff, and it was good up until the first 3 or 4 months, and then it just started going downhill. We've seen the return of ODB. We may actually see a couple more returns from some other knockouts. We may see Daphne come back. People think she got released because of a workers' compensation issue. That is not correct. That would be illegal, and Impact Wrestling TNA would be sued. What had happened was she had filed a claim for workers' compensation, and her contract happened to be expiring about 4 or 5 weeks later, and TNA just decided to not renew it. So it was because of that. A lot of people figure it was a low blow that have recently come into TNA and think that, and it's looking like she may come back. Moving on, I'm going to start talking about Awesome Kong, also known as Kharma. We've all read the speculation that she's pregnant. So I'm going to talk about Kharma here really quickly, what I think is going to happen to her. It's interesting that she hasn't been released. And, you know, the reason why I'm saying that is because back years ago when Dawn Marie was pregnant, she was released because she refused to wrestle. And people had actually been saying, well, why isn't Kharma released? Well, the thing is, Kharma is the Awesome Kong, whatever the hell you want to call her, is probably one of the best female wrestlers alive today. And WWE isn't that stupid enough to take a piss on her. They've wanted her for... Good God, they wanted her 2 years before she stepped foot in TNA, and she just never wanted to go there. Now that she's pregnant, or whatever the case may be, if she's actually written off for 9 to 10 months, she's going to stay with WWE for quite a while. And let me explain this a little bit further. My guess is she signed a 2-year contract with WWE. That would be my understanding. And, so now she's going to be off for 9 months. 9-10 months. So that would roughly bring her to a 3-year contract. Because obviously WWE is going to have to do some type of negotiation where they get it onto a year. They won't pay her, they'll probably only wind up paying her 30 to 40% of her actual wage, when she's on maternity leave. So that's going to bring about 3 years. So that's going to be about a 3-year contract. So I'm assuming Kong is going to be there for at least 3 years. I'm guessing it's going to be, yeah, it'll be about 3 years is what I'm gonna say. And her contract's going to probably expire around 2014 or so. I think if WWE keeps going on this PG trend that they're doing, I think Kong is not going to like it there, but she's not going to leave, and she'd feel guilty for leaving if from this company, from WWE, if they treat her as well as they're going to treat her when she's pregnant. So I think she would feel guilty for leaving, and I think she'd sign another deal, which would probably be about another 2 or 3 year deal, and she'd stay there till 2017 or so. After that, I think probably she will actually leave. But I don't think she'll go to Japan. I don't think she'd want to take, a younger child to Japan. She may not. I'm not sure. She may not want to uproot them. And that's when possibly she'd go back to TNA. It's probably not going to be until around 2016, 2017, 2018, somewhere in that bracket. I think she's got a long haul in WWE now, if they treat her right while she's pregnant. The thing is, Kong isn't going to like it in WWE, and I'll tell you why. Back in mid-2009, well, early to mid-2009, Awesome Kong was having problems with Spike TV, actually. She got tired of wrestling the female wrestlers. She wanted to start wrestling the male wrestlers. She honestly didn't feel there were very many good challengers for her in the Knockouts division, and she could destroy anybody pretty easily. Spike TV has a policy where they do not show man-on-woman violence, and TNA was trying to help fix that problem. They had come to a negotiation that, okay, she can't fight men on Impact, but, on pay-per-view, it really doesn't have that much to do with them. They're not the ones really showing it. So on pay-per-views, you could see Kong fighting Kurt Angle, per se. But eventually, in 2010, after all the negotiating and everything, Bob and the Love Sponge said some terrible comments about the Hades tragedy that pissed off Awesome Kong. She got in a fight with him and beat the fuck out of him backstage. Hogan's best friends with Bob and the Love Sponge, and eventually Kong got released. So that's what happened there. I think in WWE, there's really nobody there. I know everyone's like, Beth Phoenix. There's really nobody in WWE that could give her that challenge. Maybe Gail Kim if she's still floating around there. I don't even know. But there's more challenge for her in TNA wrestling. You were not going to see, I shouldn't say you're not. You're probably not going to see man-on-woman violence in WWE. especially the fact that that they are PG. So, I don't know. I don't think she's going to have a good time in WWE, but I think she'll stay there for anywhere between 5 to 6 years. I think she's going to be there for, yeah, I think so, roughly in there, maybe 4 to 6 years, somewhere in that bracket. I don't know how happy she's going to be there. She's got more challenges for her in Japan, more in TNA, but it will be interesting to see. Kong, if you're pregnant, congratulations from us here at EHWF.